red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. See my voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you've had a wonderful week so far. United are playing tonight, so obviously I had to go live and give a bit of content before we kick off against Aston Villa again. Last obviously time I ran against Villa at the weekend wasn't the best experience, and hopefully today is a different experience for us. I hope to see a bit of rotation, and I'm hoping to see just some exciting football and to be entertained. But obviously there's a big announcement today with the England squad for the World Cup. Obviously a lot of countries now are releasing their squad lists ahead of that. And so I want to recap the World Cup squad as well. Good evening to Curlers. Curlers, I hope you are doing well. Thank you as always for tuning in. And please do make sure you smash that like and share the video as well. I'd appreciate that. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the sub button on Ladies in Red. And hello to yes sir as well. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. So firstly, let's focus on United. Obviously, we are playing tonight against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a Carabao Cup. But let's be honest, it'd be nice to win a trophy regardless. Like, it's been a while. I would like to win a trophy. But at the same time as well, I think it's about time that we have a bit of rotation with this squad. I think at the weekend against Villa, you could see we looked very leggy. With the World Cup coming up as well, I just think it makes sense. Obviously, Fulham at the weekend. This game for me is a game where we should rotate and give a bit of minutes to those players who maybe haven't got as many minutes. So the likes of, I don't know, Fred, Donny, maybe. I know he's been starting lately, but maybe a few more minutes for Donny. Martial coming back for injury. That could be another one as well. Well, obviously, I'll run through my look very, very, very shortly as well. But give me your lineups in the chat and let me know what you think will happen tonight in terms of the team. And of course, like I say, we are going to delve into that England squad. I can always see Doug in the chat wanting to talk about that. Good evening to you, Doug. I hope you're doing well. Did you really have to put the B in there, Doug? Come on. Do we really want rotation tonight? This is a cup and we want to try and win. I agree. Of course, it would be nice to win. I know a lot of people kind of write off the Carabao Cup and say it's a Mickey Mouse Cup and whatnot. For me, it's silverware. We haven't won silverware for a while, and it'd been nice. It definitely would be nice to win a trophy. But at the same time, I don't want players getting injured. And like I said, I did think we looked a bit leggy against Villa at the weekend. Calvin Phillips gets in the England squad after 13 minutes of football. How? Yeah, that was my thinking, to be fair. Imagine like being a midfielder and playing well and someone who hasn't already played getting in over you. It's frustrating, isn't it? But what I will say is I thought Phillips and Rice in the Euros were quality in that midfield together. I thought that them two were kind of a dynamic duo. And I'm guessing Southgate obviously is basing his squad choice on that, which is wrong. We all know it should be based on form. But it looks like that's obviously what's happened there. And hello to Andrew. Good evening to you. We need to at least rest De Gea and Delo, says Andrew. Guys, get your team selections in the chat and I'll run through them as well. Hello to Connor. Connor, hope you're doing well, mate. Thank you for popping in and I hope you're doing good. Let me know if you're missing school. I definitely miss seeing you. I miss seeing you, mate. So I hope you're doing good and thank you for saying hello. I appreciate that. Personally, I want to see some changes tonight. I want to see some youth played, and I also want to see some minutes for the likes of Martial, Malacia, Maguire. Dare I say it, Maguire? So I want to say youth and rotating. I'm not saying all kids. I still think we need a bit of experience in there, which is why I think the likes of Maguire will start. Maybe Lindelof. Wan-Bissaka, I'm not sure how fit Wan-Bissaka is. If he is fit, if he is fit, I agree. Rest low, put Wan-Bissaka in there. Pellistri, I'd love to see get a run out because we've barely seen him play other than pre-season. So Pellistri, I'd like to see. Garnacho, I think should get a run out again. And like I say, Martial, obviously coming back from his injuries and whatnot, I would like to see him start tonight up front. I would love that, but are we going to rotate that much? And in the chat, like I say, let me know what you think is going to happen. It's been a horrible week for United. Finishing running up in the Europa League and losing to that, Unai Emery. Again, you just knew it was going to happen. Just knew it was going to happen. I'd love to see Zidane Iqbal as well. That would be great. Hello to you, Alex, as well. No, I don't really miss it. I do miss our six periods and our jokes, though. Me too, mate. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. I do obviously speak to your brother quite a lot. I know you're working and that as well, so that's good to hear, mate. Dubravka, Malacia, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, Fred, McTominay, Bruno, Sancho, Elanga, Martial would be the lineup. Is Sancho back fully fit? Seen a few people on Twitter raging about Sancho, saying he should have been given a chance for England. But for me, he doesn't deserve to make that squad. At least with Rashford, I feel like he's kind of hitting a vein of form now. Still obviously not 100% to what we know of Rashford, but looking more like himself. Whereas with Sancho, I mean, I think there's players like Harvey Barnes who, for me, are ahead of the pecking order in terms of England at the moment. And that's coming from obviously a United fan. I'm being brutally honest here. Like Sancho, I've got a lot of expectations for him, but realistically, he hasn't really been hitting those heights of late. So that one I can kind of understand, to be fair. There's a few obviously questionable ones, like we've already mentioned the Calvin Phillips one. And the only reason I can think is because of that duo with Declan Rice in the Euros was so successful. And that's what Southgate's thinking of. But yeah, in terms of Sancho, if Sancho's fit, I would like to see him. I haven't put him in my team. To be fair, my team is very similar to yours, though, other than that front three. So let me run through what I've put. So I've got Dubravka, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Fred, McTominay, Donny van der Beek, Pellistri, Martial and Garnacho. So a highly rotated team from me, but still some experience in there as well. Hello to Static as well. I hope you're doing good. But yeah, so I mean, I would love Iqbal to come in there. I would love that. And obviously, if Sancho is fit, I would love him to play as well. Sancho is suffering on the left. He's weak and much better player on the right for us. I agree. And I think it is a confidence issue of him as well. He just seems so low on confidence. Like I say, he's always playing a safe pass, always passing backwards. Wanting to be a bit more direct. And I know he likes the low 1-2s and stuff like that, but he's just become very predictable, I think. Rashford, very fortunate to be going to Qatar, says Andrew Williams. See, I just feel like he's hit form at the right kind of time. So I wouldn't say he's fortunate because I think Rashford is one of them players on his day he's unplayable. His pace brings us something different. And like I say, I feel like he's starting to look more like his old self. So I can kind of understand that one. The Sancho one, I totally understand as to why he has not been picked. Like I say, for me, players like Harvey Barnes are ahead of him in terms of the pecking order for England at the moment. Alex has gone for Heaton, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Mengi, Malacia, McTominay, Fred, Iqbal, Sancho, Garnacho, Martial. I wouldn't mind seeing that. That's what I mean, like a balance of youth and a bit of experience, but still rotating players who haven't had many minutes of late. I feel like this is the game to do that, really. And I'm not saying I'm writing off the cup. I'd love to win it, but I'll back these kids as well. I do back these kids. It's not like I'm writing the game off. I still think we've got a strong bench. And like I say, a mixture of experience and that youthfulness is what I would go for tonight if I was Ten Hag. And Dubravka should get a chance, otherwise cancel his loan. Hopefully we see him tonight. Hello to Najibi says Dubravka, Maguire, Martinez, Malacia, Delo, Fred McTominay, Bruno, Garnacho, Martial and Rashford. Love from Nigeria. Love to yourself. Thank you so much. That's a strong line, especially the front three. I mean, I would like to see that front three, to be fair. But no, in play, I think this game and the game at the weekend is an interesting one for players who are playing, because that must be in the back of their heads now. Just seeing players like Sadio Mane getting injured and stuff like that. It must be in the back of players' heads that they've got a World Cup to go to soon. Are we going to see players like apprehensive, backing out of challenges and stuff like that? Is it going to be more like a training game? Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be really interesting to see how players react with that in the back of their minds. And I'm trying to think, like, from my perspective as a player, like, would I be thinking ahead to that? It's hard. Like, do you think there'll be a difference with players in the next two games? Obviously, the cup game tonight and obviously the weekend. Or do you think managers will be rotating quite a lot with that in mind as well? We should have rotated in Ammonia and Sheriff home games, but they have to do it now, surely. That's my thoughts, Andrew. Like I say, I think at the weekend, it kind of caught up with us. Our midfield in particular, we looked so tired and leggy. They were all over us, and I think you could see the benefit of not having European football in that Aston Villa side. And of course, they had a new manager and stuff as well, and that adds to it. They're going to be up for it. But yeah, I just feel like we look tired. Ivan Toney should have gone to the World Cup. Lewis Dunk and Tomori should go in place of Harry Maguire and Connor Cody. I don't know about Lewis Dunk, but Tomori is the definite one for me. I'm a bit baffled by that one. What more does he have to do other than play in the Premier League to get into that England squad? And I think Maguire was always going to go. Southgate, obviously, it's no secret that he likes Maguire. And Connor Cody, I think, is good, not only obviously as a player, but I think for his whole character in the dressing room. I know he's a bit of a leader, obviously quite a loud mouth, but in a good way. And I think he adds a bit of character, should we say, to our dressing room. So again, I can kind of understand that one. Would love to see Zidane Iqbal get opportunity tonight. Me too. Right, so I'm going to quickly share with you the England squad for those who haven't seen it. So Pickford, obviously, Pope, Ramsdale are the goalkeepers. Defenders, we've got Maguire, Stones, Cole Walker, Luke Shaw, Kieran Trippier, Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Eric Dyer, Connor Cody and Ben White. Ben White obviously getting that call up. He has been playing right back, and to be fair, he's been playing well for Arsenal. Then we've got Midfield: Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, James Maddison, and Connor Gallagher. Gallagher's another interesting one as well, obviously getting in over the likes of James Ward-Prowse. And then strikers: Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Jack Grealish, and Callum Wilson. I'm really happy for Callum Wilson, I'll be honest. Gutted for Tony. I think Southgate, to be fair, has mugged him off by doing what he did when he took him and didn't even play him for a single minute. I think that was awful on the player. And then obviously not being given a chance now for the World Cup after the form he's been in as well for Brentford. I do think that is a bit of a crazy one, to be honest. But Wilson has also been in very good form. Obviously, Newcastle are doing very well in the league as well. But yeah, I do feel like Tony, in the manner like he was taken, obviously, with a squad and then just wasn't used for a single minute. Like, yeah, that for me was bad on him, and I feel sorry for that. I mean, Eric Dyer, curlers, I've never rated him. Never, ever rated. Other than when he scored that free kick against Russia, whenever that was, I've never rated Eric Dyer. I'm sorry to any Spurs fans that are in the chat, but I don't get the hype around him. He's never, ever impressed me. Yeah, I can't really get my head around why he's coming to the World Cup. I said it like I'm going as well. Why he's going to the World Cup. Even though I can't stand him, I think Dean Henderson deserves a shout. Realistically, Pickford's starting, isn't it? Realistically, Pickford's starting. Ramsdale, you think he'd be the backup for that. Reason why Tony didn't go is because of the allegation of betting. That probably has added into it. Obviously, I know he released a statement to basically saying he's obviously going along with all investigations, and Brentford released a statement on it as well, saying they weren't commenting. And maybe that has added into it. I do feel for him. But I feel like the way that he was treated when Southgate called him up to the last squad and then not playing him for a single minute after all the hype around him getting called up, I felt for him. That must have been quite damaging for him, and yeah, it's a shame. But back to tonight's game. We'll get hyped for the World Cup when it's closer to the time. I'm not really hyped, I'll be honest. I think the timing of it is weird. Not really supporting the timing and the place of the World Cup. And like I say, I think it's going to be interesting to see how players go into games now before that World Cup starts. Like I say, Mane getting injured recently. We've seen players like Reece James get ruled out. And it's a shame. It's a shame, because obviously this doesn't happen very often. So lots of players are at their prime in their careers right now, and this might be the only World Cup that they could possibly go to. So you're not going to want to ruin that. And I think it's going to be really interesting. No, Tammy is also another one who isn't in the squad. Ollie Watkins over Wilson is such a workhorse. Could be. Personally, I think Watkins is decent, but I do think Callum Wilson is a very rounded player. And obviously injuries have hindered him a lot, but I do think when he's fit, he is a complete striker. And I'm not knocking Wilson going, like I'm happy for him, but I feel like the treatment of Tony was just wrong on every level. Why call him up to not playing for a single minute? I just think it wasn't right. And then obviously not getting called up now as well. But it's a shame we move. But are you happy with the squad? I guess that's my question to everyone in the chat. Are you happy with the squad? And how are you guys feeling ahead of the World Cup? Like, for me, like I said, I can't get hyped for it at the minute. First game, I'm literally in work. I'm going to try and watch it during my lesson at work. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird timing. Hello to Shivan. I hope you're doing well. Thoughts on DT returning in his video? Look, I have no qualms with DT. I've openly said this before. Whenever I've met DT, he's always been sound. Even when I flicked the ball over his head, we shook hands afterwards and whatnot. And yeah, I've always had a good working relationship with DT. So I'm not gonna. For me, he's done his time and we move on. I'm not gonna dwell on that. Who am I to make judgments on anybody? And so yeah, like it is what it is. Yeah, I hope he can get back to normality as soon as possible. And like I say, he's done his time, hasn't he? I'm not going to comment too much on it, but I don't have any qualms with him personally, and that's what I'll say on it. As a Welshman, I am delighted with the squad, says Andrew. I did have a look at the Welsh squad yesterday, actually. And in regards to the squad, I agree that Tomori and Smalling's another one as well, to be fair, he's been playing well. But Tomori in particular, I think, he's what more, like, other than playing in the Premier League, what more can he do really to break into this England squad? He must be thinking that himself. And yeah, and I know there's like Tarkowski that as well, who was at obviously Everton with Cody. He must be gutted as well for Cody getting in and him not to get in. Like, it must be pretty gutting. But yeah, and like I say, I'll be really intrigued to see how players mentally are going into the next round of fixtures just before this World Cup, because you're not going to want to mess that up for anybody. Just imagine as a player getting injured now and not going to the World Cup, especially in the prime years of your career as well. Like, yeah, he is better than Dyer and Maguire. Dyer in particular, I look at we all know our thoughts on Maguire and whatnot, but for England, I do think Maguire has been a very good defender. But Eric Dyer, I just never, other than, like I say, other than scoring that free kick against Russia, I can never really say I've been impressed with him, ever. Me waiting to celebrate Ronaldo going to his 5th different World Cup, greatest of all time. GOAT, yeah, I agree. Looking forward to that. I know there's an injury scare for Messi as well, but hopefully he's okay, because to see them two competing, like, we all want to see that, don't we? And then the so-called DT apology was hilarious. How not to say sorry for 18 minutes. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it. I know that he's back, obviously, of course I know he's back, but I haven't watched the video. But yeah, like I say, I just wish him all the best with his career, and hopefully he can move on from it. Like, we all make mistakes, obviously not to that magnitude. I'm not going to condone whatever happened. But yeah, like I say, in terms of me, and whenever I've met DT, he's always been fine. But I'm not condoning anything or commenting on anything, because it's not really my place to do so. I'm not really that type of person. So yeah. Phillips and Henderson, I was most surprised about being in the squad. Phillips, it's crazy really, Phillips, because he went to City, which I think was a bad move. Barely played. And now he's back in the England squad. But you can't help but think that Southgate's basing it on the Euros and how well he played with Declan Rice in that midfield. It's got to be based on that. It can't be based on his form, because he ain't played. And I do think that was a bad... Yeah, I thought it was a bad move for him, really. And Messi was just rested for the injury scare, but hopefully Ronaldo outshines him at the World Cup. Of course we hope that. We're all Ronaldo fans. Well, United fans are. That God, you backed that up, Soph. I was worried you had a body in your fridge. I want to hear Robbie's reaction. I don't think there will be a reaction, to be fair. I don't know, but I think most people just want to kind of move on from that whole situation. Be interested to see what happens, but I don't think that there will be a follow-up from that. But in terms of the cup game tonight, I'm hoping that it's a relaxed game. I'm hoping it's a game where there's no real pressure on the players, and the players can express themselves. And like I say, hopefully there's a few changes to freshen it up a little bit as well. Good to that we want to see the likes of Anthony. Fair play to Anthony getting the Brazil squad. I watched a little reaction video that he did as well. Happy for Varane as well. Apparently it's looking optimistic for him. He's in the squad. And hopefully he'll be fit and ready to play soon as well. Because when he went down at Stamford Bridge in the manner that he did, and obviously in tears, Chelsea fans really annoyed me that day as well, the way they reacted to that. Like, for me, you don't do that. Like, I wouldn't do that. Even to a Liverpool player, I don't think I'd be doing that. Like, literally in tears just before a World Cup. So I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy that he stands a chance of playing in the World Cup. And like I said, I didn't expect that when he went down in that manner at Stamford Bridge. Team to win the World Cup. I'm not optimistic about England. I could love to sit here and say, yeah, I think the Euros, everything kind of fell into place. Obviously, being at Wembley, the draw that we had, I think we had players who were in form. A lot of our players were in form at the same time, which obviously increased us. I don't think we had that this time. We've already mentioned the likes of Calvin Phillips. He was in form at that point, playing in there with Declan Rice. Players like Kyle Walker, absolutely flying. Hasn't played for ages, he's been injured. I just don't have the same optimism that I had. And like I say, everything kind of clicked into place in the Euros. And I think that's the best chance we will have of winning it. I just don't have the same feeling. And obviously there's a lot of uncertainty around Southgate as well. A lot of people don't want him in charge. I do think he's earned the right to take us to another tournament after what happened in the Euros. I do think that. But I don't think he'll have another one after this, to be totally honest. So I'd love to say England, but yeah, I think you can't look past Brazil. France is very good squad, but I think their midfield is a bit weak, to be honest. So look, it's hard to write any, but I mean, you can't Argentina, but I can't look past Brazil. I genuinely cannot look past Brazil. That in every area they seem to have quality. So that's my shout. Obviously in the chat, let us know who you think is going to win it all. Who's the favourite? Are Brazil the favourites, I'm guessing? And like I say, France, defensively and going forward, I think they're solid. But that midfield for me is a bit of a weak point. Obviously, no Kante in there. I know they've got Tchouaméni and Camavinga, but they're still very young. And yeah, I don't know. I think Brazil would be my number one. France, I think, will be there or thereabouts, but I just feel like that midfield might not let them down. That's the wrong thing to say, because they've got quality there still, of course. But I just think Brazil on a whole have got a more balanced squad, and like I say, stronger in every area. So Brazil, for me, are the ones that I think are the team to watch. Shivan's called a Brazil versus Belgium final. And I think England, honest prediction from me, I think we'll get out of the group, and then I think that final 16 or the round of 16, I think we'll struggle. I genuinely don't. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we can find a bit of optimism and we can take a bit of confidence from the Euros performance. But I don't know, I just don't have the same, like I said, the same feeling about us. We had a lot of players who were in form, and whereas now we've got a lot of players who are just about coming back from injury, or have had big moves on the back of the Euros, like Phillips, and haven't really got the minutes in. So I can't imagine he's going to be as sharp as he was in the Euros. And the timing of the tournament as well has to come into that. Obviously, playing a lot of fixtures in the Premier League and stuff, and in Europe, to then going into a tournament, and we've already seen how fatigued players look. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not as optimistic, but I hope I'm wrong. We've definitely got the quality in our squad, but players have to be at it, and Southgate has to get them at it. And they haven't seemed to be playing underneath. That doesn't sound right. They haven't seemed to be playing under Southgate with the same kind of free spirit that we were in that Euro. So, yeah. Sophie, you know, the FIFA #1 has never won it. Is that true? I actually didn't know that. That's crazy if that is true. I did not know that. But for tonight, United, I've already given you my lineup, obviously. I hope there's a lot of rotation. There might be a few wrong ones that I've chosen there, but I'd like to see that. And I'm going to say 2-1 to United. I don't want it to go to penalties. I hate watching United in penalty shootouts. So I'm going to say 2-1. I think they'll concede. I think it all depends on Villa as well. Are they going to go for a strong lineup, or are they going to rotate their team as well? I fully expect us to rotate a bit. So I'm going to say a 2-1 win to United. Aikavin, that's a good question, actually, a call-in show. I will do a call-in show. I'll tell you what, I'll do one next Thursday. So a week today, we'll do a call-in show. Let you know timings and stuff like that as well. Of course, I'll put a tweet out. But yeah, I'm due to do a call-in show. I'll definitely get one of them going so I can hear your guys' views as well, because I do like doing those shows. I want to see England pass the round of 16. I expect them to reach quarterfinals. I hope you're right. I know I'm really I'm saying pessimistic, but it's just a feeling that I've got watching England over the last few times. I just don't feel as excited. And 1-0 to United. It's going to be a close game to Shivan. I do think it'll be close. We both had one goal in it. When are you going over to United View with Flex? Bring back some memories. I'd love to. Whenever Flex wants me, I've done a few shows with KG as well. I've been to the United View HQ as well. It's cool setup, to be fair. But yeah, whenever Flex wants me, I'm here, of course. Alex Belton says 2-1 to United. Martial brace. It would be nice to see Martial scoring again and getting him backfiring, wouldn't it? That would be lovely for sure. But guys, thank you so much for joining me for this. I know it's a quick fire video. I wanted to get some content out before that game. I'll be back at the weekend as well. I'm actually back playing football this weekend as well at Kidderminster Harriers. I know they've just announced my signing on Twitter. So yeah, as you know, I said I was taking a bit of time out. Had a few injuries and whatnot, and obviously with my career and stuff, but yeah, I'm missing it, so I'm getting back into football this weekend, so I'll be playing and then obviously watching United against Fulham after that. But yeah, I'll do a video again this weekend. But thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I appreciate it. Much love to everybody. Hopefully United put in a good performance tonight and we are entertained. It'd be nice to see some of those players rotated in as well, and just seeing a few fresh faces. Pellistri in particular, I would love to see, and Zidane Iqbal have been mentioned as well. But yeah, of course we need to win. I think we'll probably get a right back, but not much more than that, to be honest, unless Ronaldo goes, which I don't think will happen in January. But yeah, that's what I see happening. But yeah, guys, thank you. Please hit a like on the video. Of course, if you haven't, please hit that sub button as well. I'd appreciate it. And I think I've got through most comments, but if I have missed any comments, please just drop a comment afterwards and I'll always respond to you there. All that's left to say is have a lovely evening. Come on, United. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.